This clip is brought to you by 8 Sleep Mattresses, the temperature-controlled Tesla of beds that automates your sleep. Sleep better and enjoy this clip. I don't mind that.
That's typically my experience, too. I don't see many colors. I mean, I've definitely have some wild ones with entities and shit coming down. And I mean, I had one really wild experience. One time I was meditating, and there was like this white light that came, like spherical white light. And this was like about 3 years ago, right when I was kind of really getting into it. And it felt like it like pressed me into the floor. Like, you know how your hands felt really heavy for you? Well, it felt like it pressed me into the floor, and it felt like whatever it was like scanning my face. Ooh. It got really, really close. It was like almost scanning my body. It works its way down my body. And then it got to my balls. And all of a sudden I felt this energy go through my groin up into like my abdomen. And it was like, I remember I wrote in my journal, I was like, yo, this entity blessed my balls. I was like, I think I definitely should make a baby at some point here soon. But yeah, that was like a thing that happened. I literally wrote it in my journal. I'm like, something came down and blessed my balls. It was really wild. But yeah, really bright white light and like scanned me. So some wild shit can definitely happen when you do this stuff.
We were talking about like time, you know, the 55 minutes, how it went by quickly. The opposite happens when you're really mad, when you're really upset, when you have anxiety. People have reported this before, and just even somebody just going through a rough time. Somebody says like oh man, that was the worst, and they'll say year, but they might have only been going through it for just a handful of weeks, but it just seemed like it ruined the entire year. Because when someone's anxious, that's kind of they start to focus on that and try to fill in with a lot of other things that maybe aren't helpful, alcohol and other
Everything
drugs.
slows down.
I think, you know, being intentional, it does slow down for sure. I think being intentional and just, it's not an easy thing to do, but being intentional and starting to look into other options. Like, what are some other options? You know, like you mentioned some psychedelics.
Yeah.
They can be good options really for a lot of people. And I think some people laugh and they're like, oh, it's funny, it's silly, it's going to get high or going to get fucked up or have some weird mushroom experience, which happens all the time, but it can be really beneficial, right?
Yeah, I think if you break it down, what like psychedelics do is they put you in a present state, right? And so you can take a little bit and they can make you just a little bit more present, a little bit more mindful, a little bit more love, a little bit less ego, a little bit more peaceful, and you can go about your day. And then from that present space, you can become aware of your behaviors that are fucking you up all the time. So, and then if you do a bunch, you can go really, really inward, obviously a much, much more present state, and do some serious work in that direction as well. I think it's a wonderful way to kind of introduce a lot of people into this space in a lot of ways, because sometimes the mind is so gnarly and it won't let them sit still in any way. I think breath work outside of plant medicine is probably the two best ways to kind of reach that state. A lot of people try to meditate and they just try to sit there and shut their brain off, which is going to be really impossible. So I think mushrooms and psychedelics in general are literally that tool to do that, to help us become self-aware. And like, I mean, that's what Terence McKenna was all about with, you know, the apes going through the savannah and picking up fucking mushrooms out of fucking dung and eating it. And then they're looking at their hand for the first time.
What a cool movie that was, right? Was it a magical mushroom or something? Or
which one was that one?
That was pretty damn cool.
Was it Fantastic Fungi?
The fungi, yeah.
Terence McKenna was, he wrote Food of the Gods.
Okay.
And it's all about mushrooms and like the history of mushrooms and his theory of like human evolution and stuff like that.
If you look him up, man, there's a lot of cool stuff.
And then I think it's Paul Stamets who did Fantastic Fungi.
Okay.
So yeah, both. The book that I'm reading with Terence is a really hard book, though. I do it on audio and reading because it's pretty dense and kind of boring, but it's a lot of good information.
Yeah, it looks like DMT, the spirit molecule, was Terence McKenna.
So, Power Project family, I hope you enjoyed this clip. We are on Discord and Reddit. We're trying to talk to you guys and build a community down there. So the links are in the bio. But remember, like, comment, subscribe, share this out with people so you can share the wealth of health. As cheesy as that fucking sounds. Peace.